I sexually identify as an attack helicopter. Ever since I was a boy, I dreamed of soaring over the oil fields, dropping hot, sticky loads on disgusting foreigners. People say to me that a person being a helicopter is impossible and I'm fucking retarded. But I don't care. I'm beautiful. I'm having a plastic surgeon install rotary blades, 30mm cannons, and AMG-114 Hellfire missiles on my body. From now on, I want you guys to call me Apache and respect my right to kill from above and kill needlessly.
The next station will be Fortuna 69.
I never thought I'd see the day where the fucking monkey boy gets a better rework than Vauban. I'll go ahead and get straight to the point. I imagine some of you are just expecting me to praise this rework from every conceivable mountaintop, and others are just patiently waiting for me to tear this rework a new asshole.
Boy!
Now, after years of waiting, here's the question you might be waiting for me to answer. Is the Vauban rework good? Well, here's your answer.
Yes. And no.
If that's all you wanted to know or hear, then you can stop watching this video now. If you want to know more, stick around. Admittedly, I might be a bit biased in talking about the Vauban rework, especially since D. Scott watched my rework video and stated that the both of us had some similar ideas, but even then, I still wish to remain fair with my thoughts, even for Vauban. Anyways, let's go over the changes.
Just waking up in the morning, gotta thank God. I don't know, but today seems kinda odd.
Tesla has been mostly buffed, but also nerfed. The charge time is faster, charging up does not cost additional energy, the 40-second duration has been removed, and Tesla is now AoE. But Tesla still does not have a 100% proc chance, and charging up Tesla no longer increases the proc chance to 100%. In other words, charging up Tesla or building for power strength doesn't affect the proc chance, but the damage increases. You normally wouldn't notice this because Tesla now spawns 4 at once, and each shocks at the same time, so you wouldn't think the proc chance isn't 100%, but it isn't.
No barking from the dog, no smoke. And mama cooked the breakfast with no hog. I got my grub on, but didn't dig out. Finally got a call from a girl I wanna dig out.
That's technically a nerf. However, this can be excused because new Tesla still technically does more damage than old Tesla, because you have 4 out at once instead of 1, even if the proc chance is lower. Not only that, but Tesla Bank is fucking strong. Seriously, Tesla Bank is so strong right now that it's actually kind of hilarious. It's so good that honestly there's no reason to use Photon Strike. No, seriously. I'll demonstrate.
It up for later as I hit the dope, thinking will I live another 24?
put it simply, new Tesla is mostly better than old Tesla, except for the fact that it can no longer reach 100% proc chance, for whatever reason. Otherwise, I would say new Tesla is good. Being unable to reach 100% proc chance sucks, but since your 4 Tesla drones tend to be within close proximity to each other, having just one be able to proc an electric proc is fine, I guess.
I gotta go cause I got me a drop top, and if I hit the switch, I can make the ass drop.
Mine layer is still trash, but we have a damage buff now, so it's slightly less trash now, I suppose. I really don't understand why some people are calling Overdriver bad. It has the exact same damage buff as Mace's shooting gallery, but the difference is that Overdriver is cheaper, but it lasts 5 seconds less, and it doesn't CC enemies. If anything, Overdriver becomes stupidly good if you put together a good build. Interesting note. Overdriver also increases the damage of your Flechette Orb, but Flechette Orb is fucking trash, so it doesn't really matter. Tether coil could actually be good. I've been using it a few times myself just because it's cheap CC and because it can remove 2 enemies from the game for a limited time. However, because the enemy cap is low, it's weak. It could easily be better if the cap was increased or if it could be affected by power strength. Flechette Orb is just straight up bad. I don't know if anyone at D has ever played in high level content, but 300 base damage per hit isn't going to be useful outside of level 50, and it isn't going to do anything against enemies with armor. The only way this ability deals any decent damage is if you build for stupid high power strength and you spam it. Sure, you can strip armor with your Bastille, but why would you use Flechette Orb when you can just shoot them?
Had to stop at a red light, looking in my mirror, not a jacker in sight. I got a beat from Kim, and she could do it all night.
However, the point of Mine Layer is to be utility, but we're given toys as powers and expected to use them as utility. Honestly, Mine Layer is proof that Vauban's creative potential is being wasted. You would think that as a warframe that was literally designed to fight the Corpus, he would get some abilities that would help him in that regard, or at least have a technical idea behind them. He could have gotten a shield inspired by Nullifier Bubbles in Limbo's Cataclysm, where he could throw down a small dome and have it absorb all incoming damage as it slowly shrinks over time. He could have gotten a drone which reflects all the incoming projectiles from whatever direction the player is facing. I am indeed happy that Tesla is now the independent Tesla Nervos, but at the same time, why couldn't this idea of drone abilities be spread into Mine Layer? He could have gotten literally anything else under Mine Layer to give him some survivability, but he didn't. Instead, we got this.
This is worthless.
Concuss died for this. Let that sink in. Concuss, which was an ability that applied an AO stun and radiation proc when detonated, got deleted in favor of the boost pad from Mario Kart. Why? I've stated before numerous times that Concuss was literally the only part of Mine Layer that was decent, so why was it replaced? If anything, now that Mine Layer only costs 25 energy to cast, Concuss would have been better now than it was before, not to mention that combining Concuss with Flechette Orb would be a possible strategy. Concuss would force enemies to shoot each other, and Flechette Orb would damage them all in the process. If you want Mine Layer to be utility, here, I'll do you a favor. Vauban would have Concuss as minor CC, Overdriver to boost damage, a shield dome to protect himself when CC can't save him, because you know enemies that resist CC still exist, and a teleport pad for allies to travel far distances quickly or for enemies to be teleported into your abilities. There, that's how you do utility. You're welcome. The reason why Quiver works and not Mind Layer is because 2 of Quiver's powers are good, and the other 2 are situational, rather than useless. Regardless, there are ways the Mind Layer can still be improved. For starters, get rid of Vector Pad. Be serious for a moment. This ability is Bounce, except with a different coat of paint. Just because it's useful for interception does not mean it warrants taking up a slot that could otherwise be used by something better. And for the last time, memes are not a valid reason to keep an ability. We got rid of Super Jump, so why the hell do we still have this? Secondly, allow the enemy cap on Tether Coil to be affected by Power Strength. The range on it is actually pretty good. The problem is that it only affects 2 enemies. If you remove the enemy cap, Tether Coil could be better used as a mine, hence the name of Mind Layer, by temporarily protecting a door or hallway by pulling and disabling enemies. Third, Flechette Orb. The damage on this thing is pitiful to say the least. It would be better if Flechette Orb could disarm enemies it hits, or if it could ignore armor, which would justify having low damage. If you really want mines, then give Vauban some actually viable utility. Stop calling bounce pads utility. They're not. Utility implies it would be useful in some situations. In this day and where we have Parkour 2.0 and Operator Mode. If memes is enough to justify having a bad ability, then get rid of Exalted Blade and bring back Super Jump. There's no real reason Vector Pad can't be replaced by a better ability.
Called up the homies and I'm asking y'all, which part are y'all playing basketball?
Photon Strike isn't bad, the damage is okay, and the augment is nice. The problem is that it takes so long to activate and cast that by the time it actually hits, your teammates will probably have already killed your enemies. On the other hand, Bastille now strips armor in addition to immobilizing enemies, and now that it's also been combined with Vortex, grouping enemies together has never been easier. Even more on the other hand, Tesla Bank does a better job at killing enemies than Photon Strike does, considering it costs less energy, doesn't require power strength, and it doesn't have a long cast time. However, the cast time on both of these abilities is so needlessly slow that natural talent is practically a requirement now. I'll demonstrate the difference. The animations are really cool, especially because they're similar to the animations from the Vauban Prime trailer, but there's no reason why throwing one ability should take so much time, especially given that Vauban is known for just throwing his abilities on command. Natural talent shouldn't be a requirement now. In conclusion, this rework is a 3 out of 5. The rework itself is a 2 out of 5, with a bonus point purely because Tesla Bank and Photon Repeater are pretty good. Oh well. Time for Vauban to go back to being ignored again, because you know D is not going to fix this, and why would they? If D has the IQ to think that Bounce staying in the game is a good idea, why would they rework the rework? Whatever. I'm going to go do 10,000 form of Vauban now. Thank you for watching.